Start recording. Hello, my jelly fighters. My name is Jim, and this is your daily brogue for the 11th of June, 2028, 2026. And we are talking about artificial intelligence. In particular, we're talking about David Susskind, who had a recent Russian college lecture that was talking about AI. And he was saying AI is taking all our jobs. We don't know which jobs it'll take. It's important that we don't know which jobs it will take. And therefore, we need to change education. We should change education towards fundamentals. He didn't say fundamentals, but basically fundamentals. Reading, writing, arithmetic. He said reading, mathematics. Okay, so we've got two, and then critical thinking, um, which is a buzzword. Okay, so, and I say that because we talked about this earlier. If you actually try to figure out what critical thinking is, nobody really knows. The best definitions of critical thinking basically turn it into informal logic, in which case, why don't you just damn well say that? Logic, right? This might be because, if you want to disparage some things like um, computer programming, you want to uh, two eels. This is really bad. Let's see what we got here. Is there anything over here? There's something there. So here's the question. Okay, so the exit is here. There's some armor over here. I want to try to get that armor. I think I will do the stupid thing and try to get that armor. But we do not want there are two eels there. Okay, so we'll equip scale mail. I don't see anything good. And we made it. We lost the leather armor, so this was not cursed, I don't think. But I screwed up. I think I'm going to try to apply the scale mail when I'm hungry. But if there are two eels down here, those could be the same eels, but they could be more eels. We don't know. This looks like it's probably connected here, but they move randomly. They shouldn't have been just sitting up there. So there are too many eels there. We cannot handle the eels. Okay, so now we can look at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eels. And we have to go through 3 of them. We cannot handle that, right? So okay, Injury darts. Those could be. Am I doing? I am now okay. The monkey's okay, so we don't need to get in there. Okay, so apply and no. Could just hope. Just hope. Okay, let's try some of these. Actually, we have a 1 to 20 and a +2 haste charm. +2 haste charm is pretty good. But, H. Paralysis. F. Scent. Okay, so want to do telepathy? Or, oh, we've already hit the danger zone. Might need to. The brown potion overview. Is this +3 scale mail with an unknown Rick? So that is good. I mean, it's not great, but could be good. We don't know what it is. But it's much better than otherwise. Okay, now I have to figure out how to eat. Clairvoyance. Rants. Okay, let's see here. Not helpful. Dagger. Navigation, recharging. That teleportation charm. Um, among the. Oh, this is going back up. This is not the way I want to go. This is actually quite bad. Thankfully, the goblin decided he wanted to. This is the right way. So, um, so we debunked the first thing, right, for the aggression lecture. And that first thing was, um, you don't have to kill yourself just because the monkey decided to do something dumb. Doesn't seem to be anything down there. So the first thing that we did at the Gresham College lecture is we talked about these three things: writing, math, and critical thinking, especially critical thinking. Got a little bit worried about critical thinking, teaching critical thinking. Teaching critical thinking should be the most important part of this. However, we went through a long discussion about how we have a couple of issues. At least, each different discipline has a different definition of critical thinking. What does that mean? That means that um, um, that means that it's highly doubtful that any of them are completely right. Right. The best version we have is, informal logic, but that's sort of insufficient, right? Because there needs to be some quantitative reasoning in there as well. I've mentioned that in the past, I was a I fly. That's good, but not what I wanted. E2 lightning fly. N. Okay, so not usually what I'd like to do, but that's what we got. Um, the problem with our the problem we had in particular was there are kinds of this sort of critical thinking stuff that are fairly poor, that are uh, kind of bad. And I was saying that one of the ways that Arnold Kling said people actually argue, right? He has that book, Three Languages of Politics. Um, and he said one of the ways people actually argue, right? He was not talking about how people should argue or what was a valid argument, but the things that people found convincing in certain places. One of them was very particularist, and its whole point was to bias a conversation, right? And in some places in the academy, in the in colleges, this is how they teach. Now, got some other issues. Bastard tried to kill me. So, what do I mean by that? Because he wouldn't run away. So they're very particularist. They say you're allowed to make this argument for certain individuals, but not for others, rather than universalist, which says this kind of argument always works for all people, blah, 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 which um, you may or may not like. Their their problems with the mace. I don't like maces that much, but it does have some. Okay, so what I cannot do here. Now, now you're willing to come help me. That's it. So we were a little bit worried about how you could teach critical thinking. Now, I think informal logic, everybody having an informal logic class would actually be good. Not at this school, but at my previous school, they did require everybody to have that class. So it's actually a good thing about letting people do whatever the hell they want, right? That's a good argument for privatizing education, um, because some people actually get educated, which they wouldn't otherwise. I'd recently been reading a book by Eric Zaslow, which I've had sitting around, um, and I was thinking about it in terms of I've got to be careful with those dudes. Um, it's a +2 ring of clairvoyance. It's very nice. So we'll call that um, the wall viewer, whatever that is. Not great, but we'll deal with it. I'm going to keep moving till I get out because shit, hallucination. Okay, this does mean I have to do something now. Yeah. We see a good spot for use testing. This is actually not bad. recharging it by Q. Crap. Fly. Fly J. Right? Fly Q. Fly M. Identify and levitation potion. And we will go out this way. So we have a very good runic thingy. Let's see. I have to kill 10 things with my mace. My O2. R. -3 with drop R. Drop B. Drop. I don't see you being any better. What I've got. B. Okay, so now this was a very interesting book. It had like case studies, and it did some simple math with them. So it's not something like this quantitative reasoning book. So it's not something like I'm trying to think. It's not something like a real statistics manual or something like that. It's not going to. Yeah, if I can't get in there, obviously. Okay, so it's not going to be too complicated. It's something I've had for a while, and actually I don't know why I decided to read it last month, but I did. And I was thinking this might actually be something useful. Okay. This might be something that we could use to learn something about uh, to teach critical thinking. And I think that is actually the case. I think that's one way to do it because critical thinking has to somehow teach you how to use both gather and use data. Um, it's actually quite difficult to teach. It's hard enough just to, I mean, I can't tell you how difficult it was just to get students to know what a uh, a girl. No, I'm thinking about a particular. No, I'm thinking about a particular student. Um, uh, but um, to get them to figure out just um, what a scientific paper was as compared to something, a article meant for normal human beings. This does not work. I'm not able to play with it. I might have to. Okay, so we need to add dagger of confusion. Very interesting. Oh, crap. Okay, so um, we'll stick with V for now. Centaurs could not handle the centaurs at the end there. So, anyways, I think that's it. We have to do something else to teach critical thinking. And what I did not get to was a big part of that was we needed more logic, which means we need some sort of applied logic. This is either advanced mathematics, which is um, incredibly hard for students, or computer programming. And you'll remember that David Susskind had been poo-pooing programming as a skill that children should learn, but it's just the opposite. Programming is something that people need to learn early because it lets you learn how to think, right, in a careful, straightforward manner. And also, it does the best of all things, which is it teaches you that you're usually wrong and that you have to be really, really careful when you're putting things together to know what something is. So we need some more sort of quantitative reasoning classes, and we need some more sort of classes on uh, computer programming that are hopefully fun, right? I mean, the thing about it is again, one thing that Suskind is correct in saying is that we don't need to focus education on a particular job, right? And I've seen this in computer science departments where they have this giant calculator called a computer, and the entire computer science class is manipulating text strings. Who gives a shit, right? Who gives a shit? Make a class that does something fun, right? And Rice University does a pretty good job of this. They have an introduction to computer programming class that is based on it's called interactive programming in Python, and it has a class that teaches kids to use um, or teaches kids to program very simple video games of the um, 1970s stand-up variety, 1970s, 1980s, 1990s. So those are the sorts of things that people should have available to them because if you know how to do that, you need to do things. Just having the computer programming, just the mathematical logic, that gets you Ted Kaczynski, right? You need some way to improve on your ability to take data in, right? And that is the major problem that we have in the in the universe right now because of social media, is that social media is hacking our filters for data, our bullshit filters, and it's filling us with bullshit because it's found a way to get past our bullshit filters. So, very good. Thank you very much. I will talk to you some other time.